Hello there. Welcome back. My name is Al. This is a tutorial series on C++. And in the video description, there's always a link to take you to the first one. Now, this here being number 76, this is lesson 76, and I want to show you something about Windows and why I'm sort of in a paused state at the moment. Now, what I'm doing here, by the way, is creating a window, what you might call the old-fashioned way. Aside from this bit, comment that away for a minute. There are two steps. Now, in order to reduce confusion, I'll comment this away as well. Okay, is that clear enough? Okay. Now, so now see, this is the create window call, and that creates an instance of something for the class, a registered class name. Here is what would be the title bar. Here are some styles to do with the particular window. Here's its X position, its Y position, window position, its width and height, and some more parameters, sort of irrelevant for now, and H instance, which was passed into our win name. Now up here is the registered class bit. I decided to go crazy and use the EX version of the Win class struct. And well, it turns out that Win class EX has only one extra member, so this counts for the other. Now again, there's a style thing, but this is, if you remember, like when I was talking about cats and dogs and mammals and like global properties of a whole class of objects versus instance properties, instance data and global data. This represents global data. So any instance of this class will share the same window procedure, will share the same H instance, will share the same icon, which I haven't set. We'll share these styles, whatever they have to do with. In fact, these styles tell the system to send us a paint message if the width or height changes. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Now, most of these things didn't seem to do anything, but this one worked. I was able to set the cursor for the window, and it's a little help cursor. Now, there's this H brush background, which I tried various ways. I tried setting it equal to one of the numbers they say to set it equal to, and that didn't do anything. And Nothing seemed to work, so I decided to no. That just means you have to draw your own background. Now, a menu name is a kind of a global resource. So you could say, like, if this class, excuse me, if all instances of this class had a menu, and all those menus were always the same, then you might create a menu and pass that in as a parameter in the global data. I set it to no, no menu. Then, of course, the class name. And then the one and only difference is this handle to icon small, which I think has the effect that, see, I can show you something. You see this icon here for this window? Alright, now let me just get rid of this window. Now it's gone. Now I'm going to run another window, which is also a CMD window, the one I was using for those other tutorials. Now that has a different icon. Now suppose I run this one. Okay. Now they have different icons. Okay. Let me try another one. Aha! Now, see, this is what was usually happening to me before. Now, see, these have different icons, but they're suddenly sharing the same icon, and now for some reason, now how many are here? Just one? For some reason, before I would get the same icon as these ones for all my command boxes, but I guess that's not happening anymore. But at least these two should have different icons. If I run this one first, now it's got that icon. I'm going to run this one. See, now they both have a different icon. And I think that has to do with something to do with this small icon. And I think if this small icon is set, then any instance of this class, when it's created, should have the same icon along here. Even if the window itself has its own special icon, as those ones do, they'll have the same icon down here. Now, why this is different, I don't know. So that's now that's global data. Now I've done a bunch of experiments here. What I was trying to do first, let me go to experiment 1. Now here I've used the windows. This is now creating a window of the class. Okay. Now, what I want, in my case, what I would like, is that the client area be 640 by 480. Now, if I know the frame, let me run it. I think this one's sizable. No, it's not sizable. You can't tell from this one. Now, see, I'm drawing this red box in WinProc, and what I'm going to do actually is get rid of this pen. get rid of this. You're supposed, if you use a null pen, which means that it doesn't draw, there's no border around the rectangle when you draw a rectangle. So I select a brush, a red brush, into the HDC and draw a rectangle 640 by 480. Now, what I want to find out is, for this particular version, now you can see there's a black border at the top here. Now that, I believe, is correct because I have a pen, right? But there probably should be black along the bottom. So I have a feeling that the client area is probably not 640 by 480. Now if I look at the spy, it's on my window. Okay, now see the client rect is not 640 by 480. So I've made some kind of mistake. Now what is 640 by 480? Restored rect. Now I don't know what that means, but all I know is that the client rect is starting 3 pixels over from the left and 25 pixels down, and it ends there, and that results in me being off by 6 here and quite a bit more here. So the question is, how do I fix it? Okay, now to fix that, I want to make it 640 by 480. First, I need to compute the frame width. For this particular, what have I done here? This is not even the right type. What am I doing here? I should define the type of style here. Just overlap. I'll put that in here for the style. Now overlap. It's a mixture of styles. It's a title bar and a border, same as WS title. Title, same as overlap. Okay, well anyway, so overlap has a title and a system menu, right? That's what I just said. Title bar and a border, but it's not resizable. And one of the things I found out was that if it's not resizable, then this metric, CX border and CY border, will be, for instance, 3 in this case. Should be. Now what? Missing bracket. Now if I add, what I want to do is I want to add twice the frame width, right, to the, I want to increase the whole size of the window so that my my client rect is 640 by 480. So if I double the frame width, because I've got a frame on the left and on the right, and I should have a frame on the top, plus there's the caption height. Now, the caption height, they say, is given by this value. Let's see if that works. Okay. Now, it's similar in size. I still don't see anything on the bottom. Let's see what the SPY says. No, it's still not right, see? So that's not correct. And plus I had an X button before. Okay. No sys menu. What was I off by? Uh, 636. I'm off by 4 in the width. So I'm not adding enough to the width. 640 plus 2 times frame width, which I'm getting from this. So that's obviously not the right metric for that frame. Okay, it might be this one. Fixed frame. Let's try this. I forget what it said about the height. Oh, now this looks correct. See, I can see at least the height looks, and the width looks correct actually. Except the left seems a bit off. Ah, there it is, 640. So now the client rect is 640 by 480, and that's what I want. The actual window rect is 646 by 508, right? But suppose you're programming a computer game or something, right? You mostly care about, oh, there's that funny cursor. You care about how big is your drawing area, right? You couldn't care less about how big the actual window is. So if you wanted an overlapped window, 640 by 480 for drawing, then to compute the actual size of the window, given the style that's been specified, you have to do this. So this brings up the question of, you know, how would somebody just, what would be the interface that would be appropriate for somebody who wants to create a window of this type of style? Now, I can kill it like that, actually. That's not, I just did Alt F4 there. That's not magic. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, now let's try case 2. according to my help, that's this. Take the overlap that you just had and add a system menu. And that's actually the same. And I'm sure that that's going to be correct. Because adding a system menu doesn't change the size of the title bar. I found that out. So now we got a system menu and run the spy. And it's still 640 by 480. Although, is that what we had last time? Oh, wait a minute. No, is that what we had? It does look bigger, but it's definitely correct. Now, this is not sizable. Now, I'm going to leave it as it is, in fact, like that. Now, you see how it closed like that? Let me show you how this works. This is how the displaying of the window occurs. After you've created registered the class and created the window object, okay, then you're supposed to call show window with the handle you just made, and with some value, usually show normal. And that's what this end command show thing is that's passed into WinMain. That tells you how you're supposed to initially show the window. That might have like minimized or something. There's normal, maximize, minimize, show restored, default, force minimize, blah blah blah. Now, typically the value is just show normal. And see, now if I don't call this, I don't think it'll stop working. I think show window causes an update. But let's see. Let's see, it seems to work. Okay, so but I'll leave it there. It doesn't hurt. Update window basically just triggers a paint message. Now this extra bit here is just centering the window, which I'd like to do. I'm going to put this back. This first part is an assertion, just to make sure that the client width rect is 640 by 480, which I want. I added a new thing called size. This gets the size of the screen. Now I don't know why I'm taking away. This centers the client rect on the screen. That's interesting. Maybe that's what one would want. This calculation would put the center position of the client rectangle in the center of the screen. That's not really what you want. This is the rectangle we want to use. We want to center the window on in the middle of the screen, not the client area. Now, let me just make sure that that's working. No. Okay. So that's a little easier. Yeah, now, okay, so now, what happens when I click that little X? When I click the little X, I will eventually receive a WM close message. And from there, this is what I told you before. I don't send any WM quit message. I call this post quit message, which does that for me. Okay, with an exit code. Typically in response to a WM destroy. Oh, well, let's try that then. See if it still works. Now, and that's the parameter to the WM quit message that you never send yourself. So that still works. But it hasn't quit, has it? It's still running. Oh, now what's this now? Okay. Oh, now we call destroy window. I see. So if we get a WM close, and it's okay to die, we call destroy window ourselves. We'll probably return 0. Yes. Let's see if that works. Whoops. You see if it the quit message certainly got sent and everything, and the thing disappeared, but it never stopped. Yeah, it's still not stopping. Let's see more about this. Yeah. Yeah, it was working better before. I had WM closed. And what did I do before? I did post quit. I did that here. Maybe the WM destroy. I'm not tracing the messages out. I'm see, now that worked. Right. Figure that out later. In any case, you'll never see a handler for WM quit ever anywhere. Alright. The assert didn't fire, so it was 640 by 480. Now let's try the next case. That's case 2. Case 3 is overlap, system menu, and caption. Now this is exactly the same as the last one. So I'm going to go for thick frame. Now thick frame is a sizable thing. So overlap, system menu, caption, and thick frame. Now, see, now this is resizable, and you can see when I resize it that indeed it was correct. Now, this white bit here is drawn by the default handler draws that, and that covers the entire window. You see, that extra bit is the extra bit that we've compensated for, and it draws over top of that. Now, if I create a pen, here I've defined a static pen, and I've created one called a null pen. Now that's transparent, and that means that when the rectangle function that I'm calling here, according to the help, I didn't guess this one, they tell you that if the pen has no size, then you got to add 1 to the left and bottom of your rectangle. So now I select the pen into the device context, select the brush into the device context. Remember, you always got to select it in. And now I'm calling rectangle, which uses the current pen and current brush to draw a rectangle. Well, the current pen is empty, so therefore its size calculation, which would normally compensate for a pen, is wrong. So you have to add 1 according to the help, and you'll see that in fact that is the size that you should draw. Well, I can take it away and you'll see why it would be wrong. See? If I get rid of this one here, note no assertions, so our client rect is correct. Now you can see some of that white, see? So that means that the rectangle is not big enough. It needs to be 1 pixel bigger in the width and the height. The position remains the same, even though you will have noticed you will have noticed that even though we started at 0, 0 with the rectangle before, you still saw the border. Now, I believe the reason for that is rectangle draws the box and then draws the border on top of the box. Okay? So, yeah, I don't know how to test it exactly, but I think the reason we see the black on the top and bottom or whatever around the rectangle is not because it's not drawing the rectangle there, you use the same coordinates, but because it draws the border prior to drawing the rectangle. So that's that case. So there are all these various cases, and I don't want to go on too long about it. I'll just show you what they look like without going into explanation. Some of these have predefined. Oh, see, all of these ones up here can be done in just with 1 predefined number. This combines all of these things. I got 6 border pop-up, 6 menu caption. So this has these things: minimize button, maximize button, and they all work. I can drag this around. I can resize it. Okay, now but I'm not drawing beyond 640, my 640 by 480. Notice there's no white anywhere in this case. I don't believe there was at the beginning either. Oh, there is. Okay. This is drawn once and obviously not again. Right? Not by me. Not by me. Now, if I could. Wow. If I wanted to, I could scale my rect according to the fact that the window is changing size. And this window is being formed about size changes, as anything in this class would be, because I got these settings. Let me check my time. Now the question is, now I want to convert this to some kind of C++ thing. I want a kind of a class similar to that dialogue thing. See, now this, I don't know. So I'm just going to delete this comment. I don't know about that. I certainly want this WinProp thing like the dialogue. No copying, yeah. There'll be a stub thing. There will be some members. Now, now about the constructor, I don't know. See, one thing you could pass to a constructor in this case could be an atom, right? And that tells it what class it is, right? You can retrieve from an atom number the window class and get all the information you need about that particular class. Or it could take a class name. It could be something like that. Or it could derive from some predefined thing. Overlap, I don't know, min-max window or something that's already registered a class of the correct type. And that's essentially what the dialogue thing is, right? Our dialogue thing is public, number 32772, right? That's the atom for a dialogue window, right? That's essentially TS dialogue, right? Where this is some kind of window, and where this WinProp has been implemented partially in here and turned into dialogue proc for us. And so that's one way to go about it, right? Is to make a bunch of these things corresponding with these common styles that people use. These are fairly common styles. And then so there would be there could be a default constructor in this case, because we sort of define something about it, right? In the dialogue case, we couldn't, because we needed to get information from the resource. There's no resource in this case. We would have to specify maybe like create. Maybe this should be called create instance, something like that, which gives a title. And you could specify either client coordinates or screen coordinates, and depending on what type of class it is, if I want the client coordinates to be correct, then I have to go through this calculation, right? Well, this calculation can be turned into a table, so it's not there's no computing anything. So that's where I'm kind of stuck at the moment, is deciding on what kind of interface to give this window thing so it's consistent. Now I've made a new lib. Oh yeah, by the way, I added that tool, right? Look at this. My WinClass style selector. I suppose I select, oh okay, I want this style, click OK, and there it is, it puts in the clipboard for me. So see, you could even, I could extend this dialog to have more and more things to do with window styles, and maybe build maybe have a little add arrow, add the various styles that you want, and maybe select X and Y and so on, and then I could put into the clipboard how you should declare your window class, so you won't have to write any of this stuff down, right? And I could have in here, since I'm in control of every single thing here, I could have a list of our common window classes, right? And instead of just this description, there could be more descriptive things, basically like MFC. We're making our own wizard, basically. And in fact, wizard is one of the types of dialogues, but I hate those wizard dialogues. I prefer regular dialogue. Okay, that's where I am now. And if anybody has any ideas, it's not that hard to press send message and send me a message and let me know what you think. What you think would be a good interface to making a window, just your own ideas. I mean, we're free to make it up as we go along, right? And we have C++ to help us implement any kind of interface that we want. And once we've decided on a way to do it, it's trivial. It's totally trivial. It would be trivial to just create all the necessary classes and even make a little wizard and everything. Okay, well, see you next time, and I hope to hear from someone. I guess I got interrupted there with my little tool. What I meant to say was I added, as you may have noticed before, this here TS dialog is another lib, like common. But I don't think I'm going to keep that. I'm going to call this TsWindow, maybe, or TsWindows, which would include dialogue control, and whatever becomes of this project. Okay, that's what I meant to talk about before I got sidetracked with the styles thing.